Hi, this is Trey Passer. Welcome to my review of Crisis on Infinite Earth, Part 1. This review is going to have spoilers in it. Okay, Part 1 of this five-part series, which began on the CW, and which includes all the different characters from the Arrowverse, as they call it. Um, I enjoyed Part 1 a lot. They had different things that were happening in this episode. I'm going to tell you some of the things I liked about it, some things I hated about it, and some things I thought that made no sense. Okay, and my other thoughts and my thoughts about the other parts that are coming up, because I think we're getting three parts, and then they're going to be the break, and then not December, January, you'll get the other two parts, the last two parts. Okay, things I liked. The things I liked about it, to me, there were two MVPs to this episode. One was Kara, okay, Kara, Supergirl, aka Supergirl. She had a lot to deal with in this episode. Okay, first, of course, the destruction of Argo, where her mother was, okay, and where Clark and Lois was raising their son Jonathan. Okay, so she literally had to watch that happen in front of her and was powerless to do anything about it. So, and Melissa Benoist is really good with the emotional scenes and the near crying, and she really kind of got to me with that, with her emotions that she had to go through in this episode. And plus, we find out later that they jettison. Why Argo City doesn't have any more escape pods, I have understand. They did just one escape pod, which to me made no sense, especially since they came from a planet, Krypton, that exploded. You think in Argo City they would have more escape pods, but anyway, since Argo City has no uh, Clark has no Superman powers on Argo City, he can really rescue anybody or rescue anybody. So there was one escape pod and he put his son on it, and they jettisoned his son, and you think they were going to die, but no. Unfortunately, Harbinger, the Monitor, aka Lala Diggle, came to rescue them at that exact moment when before Argo City exploded. She grabbed Lois and Clark and brought them back to where Supergirl. But you think she would have, the Monitor, being knowing that he needs Kara, would have told Lila to grab Kara's mother as well, but unfortunately he didn't. So Kara's mother is dead, which again I thought was kind of weak sauce. But anyway, it is what it is. So Kara had to deal with that, and then also she had to kind of give Clark a pep talk, even though she just lost her mother, and his son was out there in the universe, and he was kind of lamenting the fact that he thought he could have it all by giving up the cape and living in like a normal life with his son and his wife with him and stuff. And she kind of had to give him like a pep talk, and I thought it was a nice bonding moment between them. And again, Tyler Heckler, I'm looking forward to actually them giving them a show because I think they could do a nice job. I think Tyler Heckler, who I thought looks nothing like Superman, but he plays the part so well. I have to give him his props for that. Okay, and I liked the nice bonding cousin moment with them when them bonding like that. Okay, and the other MVP for this episode to me was Oliver, because Oliver, he was still on the island with his daughter, and when the monitor when Lila came to get him, Harbinger, I keep calling Lila, but it's Harbinger, when she came to get them, so he basically had to take his daughter with him. Okay, and he was teaching her, and he even was a nice moment where he gave her an archer outfit basically, and tell her, this is you're going to have your own adventures and stuff, and you could see them. She's not so angry anymore, his daughter, and they bonded, and I thought that was some nice moments with Stephen Amell, because he's come a long way since the beginning of Arrow and stuff, and he's improved as an actor, and these moments, there's nice moments between him and his daughter, which I thought was really nice. And then also we got to see Stephen Amell play an older um, uh, um, Oliver Queen when they went looking for Lois, Brainiac, and White Canary. Sarah went to rescue Jonathan. They tracked his escape pod to another different Earth, and they went to the bunker on a different Earth. And when they went to rescue him, that's when the Green Arrow, Oliver Queen, started attacking them, and of course him and White Canary battled for a little bit until she recognized it was Oliver, and she said his name, and he recognized her, and he stopped fighting, and then you saw me take the hood off his head, and you see this is an older uh, Oliver Queen, and he apologized to her, and they explained to him why they were doing here and stuff, and they're here to get the baby, and he apologized to Sarah, saying that he regretted not bringing her on the trip, And even though that's not his Sarah, he said that's one of his biggest regrets, that he shouldn't have made her come with him. And Sarah kind of talked him down and told him that he's a hero, and that Sarah was like she was. Obviously, we went for our own free will, so you shouldn't feel any guilt about that. And on any Earth, the Arrow is a hero, and Oliver Queen's a hero. And I thought that was a nice bonding moment, before they left, with the baby, that she bonded with him and made him, kind of forgive himself for, having her on his Earth. Sarah died. Okay, and I thought that was a nice moment with the Stephen Amell, and we got to see a nice moment between Sarah and Oliver, even though it was a different Oliver. But I thought that was a nice moment, a nice bonding moment. And also we had Martian Manhunter and the Dreamer. They were actually, the good thing about Earth 38 is that they have all these alien ships, and that's how they were basically gathering all the ships and gathering the people so they could basically abandon the planet, go off before the anti-matter hit. And the Monitor, Harbinger explained that the Monitor had these big towers that were built and designed to ward off the energy wave, so people could escape. And they had to actually protect that tower against these shadow creatures. Now, these shadow creatures, let's face it, these shadow creatures were a joke. Okay, I have to be perfectly honest with you. These shadow creatures were a joke. They basically look like ghosts, and for them to be fighting them, it looked really ridiculous. Them throwing batarangs at them, shooting arrows at them, because they look like ghosts, floating ghosts. Of course, it's a CGI, and it just looked ridiculous, to be honest. It really looked ridiculous, and they should have just made them. I understand, for time's sake and maybe for expenses, they should have just had some guys in costumes, like maybe 10 guys in costumes, and have them come as shadow creatures and let them come to a physical, form, and then have them actually physically fight them. So that would probably look better than just these floaty ghosts, them shooting arrows at them, Ray shooting energy, Adam shooting energy bolts at them, Batwoman throwing batarangs and kicking. It looked like she was kicking in the air. I know it had to look silly in pre-CGI with them just doing that. To me, that looked silly, beyond silly. But anyway, we also did have Flash in this episode. They were off on another mission, but he came back in time. And like I said, this episode was good because you got to see the Monitor, and he told them that that you had to basically leave everybody had to go because this Earth is gonna the tower is gonna fall, so everybody has to go, and that's when you see that moment that you saw in the trailer where Arrow's basically saying, he said, he's asking, is everybody on the ships? And he says, not quite, not everybody, and he said that it's not time to leave, so he stays there and he's fighting them, still fighting these creatures until he runs out of arrows. But before that, one moment I thought was kind of wacky and kind of wonky. He shoots an electricity arrow at the Monitor. So the Monitor, because the Monitor banishes everybody else, takes away his daughter, his, Ray, Supergirl, and Superman, and Flash. But Oliver shoots an arrow at him, and it kind of stops him from whisking Oliver off. And Oliver basically is on the roof fighting these things until he runs out of arrows, and basically he gets mortally injured. And you see him laying on the table, in the command center, and he's saying his goodbyes basically to everybody. He's saying goodbye to his daughter and to Sarah, and he's basically telling Barry and Kara that he made a deal with the Monitor to spare their lives and stuff for his life, and then he kind of dies literally on the table. And I thought that was I like that moment that Stephen Amell got to act with his daughter, and you got to see Barry put his hand on his daughter's shoulder to comfort her. But I thought it was silly that the Monitor got taken out by an electricity arrow. Basically, arrows, Oliver stopped him from whisking him off by shooting him with an electricity arrow. I said, this is all-powerful being. He gets stopped with an electricity arrow. He couldn't whisk Oliver off. He couldn't swat that arrow away and just grab Oliver away. But no, they had to show up, him dying. But I definitely don't think that death is permanent. I think he's definitely coming back. Oliver. At first, I thought what they would do in the future episodes, not maybe the next episode, maybe the Arrow episode, is they would go to the other Earth and get that arrow, that Oliver Queen, that Sarah, she gave him that pep talk. I thought maybe they'll go and get him, and let him fight alongside them. I thought they would do that, but then I read something and it kind of makes sense. Constantine, they'll get Constantine to revive, let him do his little mumbo jumbo and get him to revive Oliver, original Oliver, because it makes more sense to revive him because why would you? Because I think eventually at the end of Crisis, you're gonna see Oliver reunite with Felicity, and they'll have his bonding moments with his daughter and his son, and then they'll go off Oliver and Felicity, and then and then the spinoff will be his daughter, his daughter and his son, and Diggle's son, and the Canaries, and they'll be on a spinoff which begins. I think I don't know if that's going to be this. I think that'll be next season because I think Legends is coming back to take Arrow's place. So that's what I think is going to happen. That Constantine, he will revive original Oliver, who just died in this first episode. So he'll revive him, and then that's how he'll come back, original Oliver from this universe. Well, this current universe. Because I thought, well, that's why they showed them going to that other Earth and having that moment between Sarah and this other older Oliver Queen, just because they go back and recruit him. And they still may do that. They still may. So you may still Stephen Amell playing two different Olivers again, because I think they did that for a reason. I mean, I know they wanted to have a scene maybe just because this is going to be Stephen Amell's last hurrah. So maybe they wanted to have another scene, nice emotional moment between Sarah and him, even though it's a different Oliver. But at the same time, I think maybe they might do that anyway, just grab him from that Earth and bring him and let them fight alongside him until Constantine revives original Oliver, the one that we've known for all these years. Anyway, this first episode was pretty good for the most part. We got lots of seriousness, nice special effects in this. Like I said, the only things I didn't like I said, was the Monitor getting shot with an electricity arrow and being taken out. That was kind of silly. Oliver dying this early did surprise me, and I'm not going to say I didn't like that. It did surprise me, but I know he's coming back, so I'm not worried about that. But it did surprise me. What I didn't like was Batwoman. Okay, her being just an annoying person. She's just annoying. Okay, again, I hate to say it, I hate the act because you can't hate nobody. I just hate the actress who's playing Ruby Rose, because let's face it, Ruby Rose can't act. Okay, and they should have got a better actress to be Batwoman. Okay. But her punching Lila, Harbinger, just because she stopped her from finding out where her wacky sister was, she grabbed her and brought her to the Crisis before she could find out where her crazy sister is. So she punched Lila, and Lila just flinched. So that wasn't nothing. But she was just being really annoying. Okay, and then she pulled off her cowl, and once Kara calmed her down and told her to trust everybody, because I trust everybody, so you can trust everybody. She removes her cowl. So that was okay. But then she was snarky to Ray, which I didn't like either. But other than that, I liked it for the most part. Like I said, I liked to see the the little brief moment we got of Clark and and Lois on Argo, bonding like that. So I'm looking forward to their show they have next season, because I think Tyler Hoechlin, who I still don't think he looks like classically Superman, but I think he pulls it off with his earnestness and his acting. So I can buy him as Superman. But I'm looking forward to watching Brandon Routh revising Kingdom Come Superman, because Brandon Routh to me reminds me the most of Christopher Reeve. And I met Christopher Reeve years ago after Superman came out in the ice skating ring. We met him on a school trip, and I'll never forget that moment meeting him, because he was filming some segment for Good Morning America down there, and our class was down there, just because we went ice skating, and we got to actually see him down there, and I thought that was cool, and I'll never forget that. And I miss Christopher Reeve, this his personal side. But I'm looking forward to the next 4 parts. I'm looking forward to seeing Tom Welling come back and put on the suit. Tom Welling, stop being averse to putting on the Superman suit. Please put it on, please. I want to see. Come on, Tom Welling, give me that. Okay, I know he's averse to doing that, but please, I want one scene with all 3 Supermans dressed up as Superman. Okay, can you give me that? That's all I want, please. And looking forward to a Flash. I don't think Flash is going to die. Okay, I know they keep saying that he's going to die, but I don't think he's going to die. Okay, I think either it's going to be Kid Flash is going to die, or either 90s Flash is going to die, or Jay Garrick. One of those other Flashes is going to die. It's not going to be R. Barry that's going to die. It's going to be one of those other. It's either going to be Wally, which I think would be oh, that's going to devastate Iris and all that stuff. But it might be her for the emotional punch. Or it's going to be 90s Barry, because they said a Flash is going to die in Crisis. He said the Flash. He didn't say Barry Allen is going to die. He said the Flash is going to die. So it could be the 90s Flash that we saw last week in the last Crisis thing, that last, joint episodes, the thing that happened last season, or Jay Garrick, which I don't think is going to be Jay Garrick, because Jay Garrick is married, I think, to that to the woman that looks like his mom. So I don't think it's going to be Jay Garrick. I think it's going to be either 90s Flash or Kid Flash. Well, I think they might be keeping that a secret. Just my own personal opinion about that, and I'll see how right I am about that. And I'm also looking forward to Kevin Conway as Bruce Wayne. I think that happens. I don't know if it happens in this next episode, but if it does, I'm looking forward to Black Lightning interacting with Flash and everybody else. And I want also see him interact with Superman and Supergirl, because on his world, I remember Black Lightning when it first happened. Supergirl was in a comic book on his world. So as far as he knows, Supergirl was just a comic book character. Okay, there was no Supergirl or anything on his Earth. So I'm going to see him actually get to meet Supergirl. So I hope that's that moment where he says, "Oh, you for real?" Anyway, so that's my opinion about that. So anyway, I'm looking forward to the next 4 episodes. Like I said, well, the next 2 until we get the break, and then they'll come back with the last 2 episodes. Anyway, let me know what you think of Crisis Episode 1. What did you think of that first episode? Did you like? What did you like about it? What did you hate about it? Let me know in the comments below. Let me know what you think. I have links to my social media in the description box: Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. I also have a link to my other channel, Paul's Views and Opinions. So you check that out as well. And this is Trey Pastor saying so long and take care.